Hey, this is Wire with the Creative Habits Podcast. Did you sweat your mind today? So I love this idea because, like Garrett J. White, and, the culture at large. Here is, the Warrior book, right? And this is How to Master the Art and Science of Having It All, right? Now, most of the time people, look around and you'll see people running and, lifting weights and the whole thing about sweating is glorified, right? I mean, the whole thing of working out is glorified. And it's great because it does all kinds of things for your body and it gives you energy to actually create. And that's why, in this book, Garrett J. White talks about the core four. And one of the core four when you wake up is to sweat a little bit and get your body moving and so on. But the thing of it is, did you sweat your mind today? And you apply that same principle of, getting up and sweating it out. And it goes into the creative sweating. So when you think about expanding, what you're doing, if you have a creative technique that you're using, it's really easy to jump into your creative habit, your routines. And in that routine, you kind of get into a rut, a creative mode that you rely upon, which is great because it, uses less energy. But at the same time, are you really sweating? And so sometimes, you talk to creative people and they get into that rut and they get bored and, it's like making the same thing every day and it looks different and you'll see in the musical, songs, you can always tell a certain sound or somebody or actors have a certain mode, right? So it's like, okay, did you sweat today? Did you, step outside of those boundaries and just, make yourself, go a little bit further and just incrementally sweat it out just a little bit more. And when you do that, you stretch that creative muscle a bit. And I know it's like, oh, okay, yeah, whatever. That's nothing new. No, it's not. It isn't anything new, but it's looping back around into your creative habit. It's looping back around and inserting that creative expansion so that it's not just an idea, but it's something you actually use every day. It's something that you actually put into play because all these ideas are simple, right? Creative habits are very simple. The idea of running is very simple with exercise. Lifting weights is very simple. But not everybody runs, not everybody lifts weights, right? And even when you do run or lift weights, you might get into that place where you just do the same thing and you don't stretch it a bit further. And the beauty of the human mind and body and spirit is to expand and stretch. Nothing new there, right? That's all proven. So why not loop back around? And if you're finding yourself bored, at least I liked this because the way I thought about it was, if I'm bored in a certain area or I find myself not as inspired, am I really stretching the boundaries? And when I look at it stretching the boundaries, it's much more easy to get into that mode and get on fire and actually produce something that's inspirational. That's why creative visualization is so cool because it gets you to, instead of thinking about your regular world and allowing that to, drive your capacity. It's the expansion of the mind to go beyond what you could imagine, actually making that part of your visualization, because it's like, oh, that's impossible. But you can do that in your mind. You can creatively visualize beyond anything that seems possible. And the beauty of that is your mind kind of expands and it dances around, and you jump in the shower, you go on a walk, and your ideas start to like attach to that impossibility and create possibility. And the beauty of that is in that expansion. Nothing new. There's never anything new necessarily about creativity or about all that. The whole idea is to loop around and apply it in small incremental ways so that you actually use, the principles, the ideas that you come across. And so the challenge in creative exercise is to look at where you might be getting bored, or just to create a little more fire, create a little more, difference. And it could be something simple. when that starts to contribute. Like, let's say you go on a walk and or you go on a run, you do the same run. You do a little bit differently. You walk a little bit differently. Just funny stuff like that. It's weird, but it shakes up the mind. And again, that creative visualization and that impossibility becomes possible with all these little things that just happen to magically appear. Synchronicities, the beauty of synchronicities, which gets into, Abraham Hicks and and all that. But anyway, I put it out to you. Take that experiment and kind of just stretch the boundaries, just as you would get up and sweat your body. Go ahead and sweat your mind. So, hope you find that creative spark or inspiration good for your day, and see you next time. Thanks a lot for watching.